Hi guys, welcome to this lesson with me, Arun Sharma, and we just starting off in a minute. Still not on time. Yeah, hi guys. So let me just open my PowerPoint presentation for you. And as you know, this is a discussion of the CAT 2018 Slot 2 paper, quantitative aptitude, and we are doing the questions of quantitative aptitude from the CAT 2018 paper. But before I start that aspect, I need to tell you about Unacademy Plus and the subscription model on Unacademy Plus. This is something which is very important for all CAT aspirants, and not just CAT aspirants, it might also be important for anybody who is uh, preparing for any aptitude exam, because on Unacademy Plus you don't just get subscription for CAT, you also get subscription possibilities, or you have subscription model possibilities for doing so. If you go onto the Unacademy Plus website, you will see this drop down, and on this drop down you will be able to, if you click on this arrow button, you will have UPSC, the CSE exams, you will have banking, and a host of other exams like SSC, CGL, and other exams for which you can prepare with top educators. The best part of it is you have a whole host of top educators, and you know the most important part is that once you get a subscription to Unacademy Plus, you get access to all the courses that the top educators are launching. So new courses are published every month from the top educators, and you will have a minimum guarantee of number of hours with each educator. And all the courses are structured in English, and you can attend the courses live, or you can get the access to the videos of those courses later. And we have 30 plus hours of live sessions every day, which is one of the unique features of Unacademy Plus. And if you look at the CAT subscription, you have, of course, a whole host of super teachers, or super successful teachers. You have me, you have Bharat Gupta, you have Himanshu Das. All of them are top educators on Academy Plus, and very popular teachers in their own right, in their own domains, wherever they have taught, experienced teachers. And you also have people which I have not put up here, people like Nilanjan Datta, who was a CAT 2016 100 percentiler, and the serial CAT tracker 100 percentile. Also, I am also a serial CAT tracker. I scored 99.99 in CAT 2018. But you also have Patrick D'Souza. Patrick is a serial 100 percentiler. He has scored 100 percentile consecutively in the last 3 years CAT. So you can see the best educators on Unacademy Plus. And in case you decide to actually register or enroll for Unacademy Plus subscription, what is in your benefit is a 6 month subscription or a 12-month subscription, because that is what will give you access to super courses and complete courses. Because if a course starts in a month and ends in the next month, if you take a monthly subscription, you might not be able to see the whole course. So you can take a 6 month or a 12-month subscription, which is the typical time frame for you to prepare for any exam, be it CAT, UPSC, civil services, and a very strong team of teachers, even in civil services exam, etc. So if you want to enroll for any of this, you can use my promo code. If you use this promo code Arun M Sharma, if you use this promo code Arun M Sharma, you will get access to a 10% discount on the subscription price. So please register with this code, and you will get access to a whole host of you'll get access to a whole host of top trainers. I just hope I'm live with all of you. Yeah, so let's get back to a streaming window, to the PPT PowerPoint presentation again. So as I was saying, why am I doing this course? This course in which I'm showing you the CAT 2018 paper. The reason for that is quite simple for you to understand, and you should understand this reason. And the reason for that is essentially that CAT 2018 is an important landmark. I've already talked about this in the first session. CAT 2018, the quants paper of CAT 2018, is an important landmark in CAT preparation because of the quality of questions, the depth of what they checked, and the twists that they introduced in the questions. And when you look at the questions chapter wise in this thing, although I'm not doing this chapter wise right now, but if you look at the questions chapter wise for preparing for CAT, you'd realize that every question that CAT 18 had, the questions that CAT 18 had, the questions that on any chapter. So suppose you pick up a question from CAT 18 on the chapter of interest, you will realize that the question uses the top level skills on that chapter, your core understanding of the chapter and the highest level of skills on the chapter. So when you study interest or any other chapter like that, and you want to compare whether you are able to solve the CAT 18 question or not, that's a good benchmark to test yourself against, because it's going to be an important aspect of your prep strategy, right? Creative Ideas is asking me how to learn vocab for CAT. Uh, Vocab for CAT, Creative Ideas, is uh, about usage. So don't try to memorize, don't try to ratify, because if you're trying to memorize too much, uh, you end up not achieving much. So what has to happen is that if you start reading regularly, what will happen, and you start reading text which is outside your difficulty, or outside your comfort zone. If you start reading text which is outside your comfort zone, what will happen is you will see uh, a lot of vocabulary inside those texts which you don't know. So the idea is to make sure that you start understanding that vocabulary, you start retaining that vocabulary, and you make it your own. So what happens is when you read something slightly off topic from the quant's viewpoint, but since this question has come on chat, I'll answer this. When you read something and a word comes in that reading in front of you, if this word comes in front of you and you understand its contextual meaning, even if you don't go to the dictionary every time you're reading, but you understand its contextual meaning. So typically what will happen is, if you come across a word like that, the same word, if you come across 4 5 times and you keep understanding it contextually, So in 4 5 repetitions, in 4 to 5 repetitions, the word will become yours. So this is the mechanism for vocabulary in your vocab prep, right? Okay, so I have already done the first 4 questions of this presentation in the first YouTube session that I took a couple of days back, and I want you to take a look at this question, and I want you to try to solve this. I want you to try to solve this and see whether you can get to an answer for this on your own. I'll give you a couple of minutes to try to solve this. And in case you're able to solve it or you're not able to solve it, we'll check. If you can solve this, that's great. And I'll come back with the solution after a minute or two for you. I hope I've been able to answer your question, the vocabulary question. Just follow the process. So even if you come across 10 new words every day in your reading, you just keep going that way. One point will come where you'll get comfortable at that level of reading that was creating discomfort because you have seen those words many times over. So vocabulary in context is the best way to memorize vocabulary. So have a look at this question. Nine to live asks, can we expect these kind of question patterns in CAT 19? Yes. Now that CAT 18 has set the benchmark, CAT is evolving in a lot of ways to the next level of difficulty. So when CAT 15 happened, CAT 15, CAT 16 happened, the DI and LR went to the next level. A lot of people are assuming that this was IIM Calcutta, so next year it won't happen. But if you look at the DILR of 15, 16, 17 and 18, you will see that it's been the same level every year. The quality and the difficulty level has been constant or in fact increasing. If you look at the verbal and RC section for the last 5 6 years, you will see that there's a constancy, there's a sameness of the questions. It's reached a constant level of difficulty. And whether you look at the CAT 18 paper in verbal or the CAT 17 paper, you'll see that there's a constancy in terms of difficulty. So as an exam gets more and more standardized, which the CAT I'm quite sure is trying to do, is trying to get standardized more and more. The same kind of or similarity in the kind of questions will be this thing. The variance in the kind of questions will reduce. So CAT 19, maybe you might not have. There's a CAT 18 had 20-30% questions which are normal and 70% questions which are this quality. Maybe it will be a 50-50, but still the qualifiers will be able to solve these questions. Right? So, are you able to do this? So let's have a look at this question. What does it say? Let's start reacting to the question statement by statement. The question says a water tank has inlets of two types, A and B. All inlets of type A when open bring in water at the same rate. All inlets of type B when open bring in water at the same rate. Right? The empty tank is filled. Now this is the first. यहाँ तक तो this question was just giving you not much information in terms of reaction based situation. It was just giving you some basic idea or what the question is about. Of course, you realize that this question is currently talking to you about a pipe and cistern situation. So the first question, the first part of the real part of the question starts here. The empty tank is filled in 30 minutes if 10 inlets of pipe A and 45 inlets of pipe B are open. Now this is actionable information. So you should take action at this point on this question and try to work on this. And this question says the empty tank is filled in 30 minutes. That means half an hour. If 10 tanks of pipe, 10 inlets of pipe A and 45 inlets of pipe B type B are open. So if you have 10 inlets of pipe A, let's say an inlet of pipe A brings in A liters of water per hour. And let's say an inlet of pipe type B brings in B liters of water per hour. So in 30 minutes, 10 inlets of pipe A plus 45 inlets of type B would bring in 10A plus 45B into half, which is equal to 5A plus 22.5B it would bring in 5A plus 22.5B. This is the amount of liters of water that will bring in. And we know that with this amount of liters of water, the tank gets filled. The tank gets filled with this much. Right? Yeah, good evening, Parikshit. Good evening, Dhananjay. So with 5A plus 22.5B, the tank does get filled. Right? And then it says in 1 hour, if 8 inlets of type A and 18 inlets of type B are open, the tank gets filled. So this again means that we have 8A. Hi Salman, welcome to the class, to the lesson. 8A plus 18B. This also fills the tank. So since both these, this as well as this fills the tank, you can equate the two. And if you equate the two, you will get 3A. You equate the two and collect the A's on the left and the B's on the right. You will get 3A is equal to 4.5B. And that gives you 3A is 4.5B, and that gives you that A is equal to 1.5B. And with that reaction, if A is equal to 1.5B, you can insert that into that equation there. And because A is 1.5B, you can replace A with 1.5B there. And when you do that, you will get that the tank filling, the filling of the tank is 12B plus 18B. 12B plus 18B. That means the tank capacity in terms of B's 1 hour inlet is 30B. That's the capacity of the tank. Are you with me on this? Right? I'll come to your question, Salman. Just give me 5 minutes. Let's finish this question. So this is 30B, right? That's the capacity of the tank. Now the question says that if you're opening 7 inlets of type A and 27 inlets of type B, then how much time will you take to fill the tank? So for that, your insertion rate is 7A plus 27B with 7 inlets of type A filled and 27 inlets of type B filled. But we already know from here, so where have we reached? We have reached that the tank requires 30B to fill it. And we also know that A is equal to 1.5B. This much we have derived from this part of the question. And now if I am opening 7 type A's and 27 type B's, then all I have to do is replace that A with 1.5B, which is the information we have gathered by solving the first part of the question. And we realize that we are at 10.5B plus 27B. Right? So this gives us 37.5B as the total. This is the total work rate, and you have to do a total of 30B to fill the tank. So 30B by 37.5B, the time required for that at the rate of 37.5B. This is the rate filling rate now with so many uh, pipes open. So you'll get 30B by 37.5B, which is 30 by 37.5, which is 4 by 5, which is 4 by 5 hours, which is 48 minutes. Right? The answer will be 48 minutes. In this case. Now look at question 6. The next one. Try to solve this. Yeah, Parikshit, I thought that Unacademy is a good way to actually connect to more students, which is why I'm here on it. Does not affect what my work at Mindworks anyway. So try to solve this question. Yes, Muniraj, your answer is correct. So this is a simple question, not very difficult. Parikshit, your answer is wrong. This is a simple question, not very difficult to do, and this is based on a simple logic, and that logic is that given, especially given the options, if there was no option in this would become tough. But if you talk about 4 raised to n, 4 raised to n is basically equal to 2 raised to 2n, or it is equal to 16 raised to n by 2. If you write 4 raised to n as 4 raised to 2, you'll have to make it as n by 2 there, right? And so that will become 16 raised to n by 2. Now 16 raised to n by 2 needs to be greater than 17 raised to 19. This will not happen if you take, for instance, if you take the value of n as 37, for instance. If you put n as 37 in this expression, what you will get is 16 raised to 18.5. And that can't be greater than 17 raised to 19 in any circumstance. So this is clearly wrong. This is clearly wrong, right? So if you guys just go through the options, 39 will be the right answer here, because 16 raised to 39 is the only value amongst these where the power of the left hand side becomes greater than the power of the right hand side. And since the base is smaller, the power that you get here in n by 2 should be larger than 19 for it to be greater than, for the LHS to be greater than RHS. This inequality is an inequality where the LHS is greater than the RHS, and this can only happen with when you cross 38 in this case, right? So Salman is asking me, I'm a commerce graduate, even a disabled student. Academic is poor, below 50 in 10th and 12th, but I want to do an MBA at IIM. So Salman, you will have to score a strong percentile. Just focus on getting a good percentile, and I think with the disabled category, etc. I hope you are writing disabled there. I hope I'm reading that right. Right. So if you are in that category, then if you score a 97, 98 percentile, you should be pretty fine in the exam. Try this question. This is the next one. Yeah, can you get the answer to this? right? Let's have a look at this question. I hope you have tried this. I've given you a couple of minutes for this. It's a time split distance question, obviously. Let's try to see what it says. The question is saying that points A, P, Q, and B lie on the same line, such that P, Q, and B are respectively 100 kilometers, 200 kilometers, and 300 kilometers away from A. So, the first thing you should do before you move on is draw that track. So, you have this track AB, and on this track AB, you have P, Q, and B, and the distance AP is 100, the distance AQ is 200, and the distance AB is 300. So if I'm writing these distances from A towards B, if I'm writing this distance from A towards B, the question says cars 1 and 2 leave A at the same time. So what we have here is you have car 1 and car 2 leaving A at the same time and move towards B. Simultaneously, car 3 leaves B and moves towards A. So car 3 leaves B and moves towards A. Car 3 meets car 1 at Q. Now this is, till this point, the question was just asking us or just giving us some basic data. When you reach this point, car 3 meets car 1 at Q, what this is telling us is that car 3, when it reaches Q, that means car 3 does 100 kilometers. In that time, car 1 also reaches Q. So car 1 also in the same time does 200 kilometers. When car 3 is doing 100 kilometers. In the same time, car 1 is doing 200 kilometers. So you get the ratio of the speeds because they are doing it in the same time. You get the ratio of the speeds of BQ of car 3 to car 1 or car 1 to car 3. You get the ratio of the speeds as 2:1 because the ratio of the distance traveled will be equal to the ratio of the speed since the time is same for both the cars. And then it says car 3 meets car 2 at P. Now this means that when car 3 goes all the way up to P, that means it covers the BQ distance also and then covers the BQP distance also. In that time, car 2 is also reaching P. So this means clearly that the ratio of the speed of car 3 and car 2 when car 2 is doing 100 kilometers, in the same time car 3 is doing 200 kilometers. This means that the ratio of speeds of car 2 to car 3 is 1 is to 2. That means car 3 speed is double car 2 speed. So if I want to insert that ratio into this ratio and I want to make a composite ratio, because that's without reading what the question is telling you, that's something you'll have to do, because obviously the question is going to lead to the ratio of car 1 to car 2 to car 3 in some way or the other. So if I want to insert car 2 into this, I'll have to insert car 2 speed. If I keep car 1 and car 3 as 2 and 1 respectively, then car 2 speed, because it is half of car 3 speed, then car 2 speed I'll have to insert as 0.5. So that will give me a ratio of 2 is to 0.5 is to 1, which means the ratio of 4 is to 1 is to 2. This is the ratio of car 1, car 2, car 3. And then the question asks us the ratio of the speed of car 2 to car 1. So car 2 is 1 and car 1 is 4, and hence option 3 is the correct answer here. Right? So this is how you do this question. And now you move on to the next question and try this. This is a very nice question, brilliant question in the CAT 2018. It's from interest, as you can see. Try this question and we'll see how to solve this. I'll give you a couple of minutes to solve. Try this. So let's have a look at this question. I hope you've tried this. And let's have a look at this question. The question is saying that Gopal borrows rupees X from Ankit. Gopal borrows rupees X from Ankit at 8% annual interest. So, Gopal, since he's borrowing X from Ankit, he'll be paying 8% of X. As is interest. This is the interest Gopal pays to Ankit. You can write that mathematically as 0.08x, but you can also keep it as 8% of x to understand the value in language terms rather than mathematical terms. In mathematical terms, of course, 8% of x will be written as 0.08x, but you don't need to do that. This will typically be available in LOD 2 advanced questions and LOD 3. Ankit, uh, whatever your name is, dying to live. Your ID is dying to live. So this will be available in LOD 2, LOD 3. That's level. So Gopal gives Ankit 8% interest. But if you actually look at it and if you look at how to solve these, you'll realize. I mean, of course, you guys are not able to solve this, but if you break down the question, you'll realize it's very simple. He then now look at the next question. Now it is difficult because it's outside the standard questions you have done, but it's easy if you have worked out the logic and the structures of reactions to the question. He then adds y of his own money and lends x plus y to Ishan at 10% interest. So he gives x plus y to Ishan, and by adding his own money of y to the x he has borrowed, and he's giving a 10% interest. So what Gopal gets will be 10% of x plus 10% of y. Right? This is what Gopal gets. This is what Gopal gives. And this is what he gets. Or you can keep this in your mind in the context of Ishan giving Gopal. At the end of the year, now this is the key statement in this question. Let's see what you have to do with this statement. At the end of the year, after returning Ankit's dues, the net interest retained by Gopal. Now you need to stop here. So when Gopal gets this much and he gives Ankit back, or he gives Ankit 8% of X, the Gopal is left with the interest retained by Gopal. This value will be 2% of X plus 10% of Y. This is the value retained by Gopal, right? And this value, the question says, is the same that accrued to Ankit. So this value is the same that accrued to Ankit, means Ankit must have got 8% of X. And because the value retained by Gopal is the same that Ankit got, we can equate these two. And if I solve this, I'll get 6% of X I'll get 6% of X is equal to 10% of Y. And that means that Y by X is equal to 3 by 5. This is the first point in the problem solution that you reach. And then the question goes on. And the question says, on the other hand, read it properly. And that's what I want to show you through these lessons. That if you read the question properly, you will automatically start solving them better. On the other hand, had Gopal lent x plus 2y to Ishan at 10%. Now, if Gopal had lent x, so we now have y by x is 3 by 5. Once we get that, if we read this, had Gopal lent x plus 2y to Ishan at 10%, then the net interest retained by him would have increased by rupees 150. Now, if Gopal has lent x plus y, the next net interest retained by him, the variable we are talking about is the net interest retained by him. The net interest retained by him is 2% of x plus 10% of y. Right? Now, if Gopal instead of that had lent x plus y, the net interest retained by him will be 2% of x plus 10% of y plus another 10% of y. So if you look at this, what you realize is that the extra interest he's retaining would be essentially equal to this extra 10% of y, because this part of interest retained is also the same as what he was retaining earlier. So this extra interest retained by him is given as 150. Right? So, yeah, Shank, good to hear that. And Rishikesh, I'll just get back to you. Let me complete this question. So, 150 rupees is the extra interest retained by him, and that is equal to 10% of y. So, that clearly means that if 10% of y is 150 rupees, it clearly means that the value of y must be 1500. The value of y must be 1500. If the value of y is 1500, then according to this ratio, the value of x must be 2500. And the question is basically asking us the value of x plus y. And that would be 1500 plus 2500, which is 4000. So that would be the answer to this question. So the question from Rishikesh is that you scored 29 percentile in quants, Rishikesh, so you will need to develop your quants thinking, and you need to understand that when you're trying to develop your quants thinking, your learning has to be, if you see the solution, at each point of time, what I was doing was I was breaking the question down. So the key to solving these kind of questions, the kind of questions they gave us in CAT 19, CAT 18, is essentially the key to do these well is essentially to actually uh, develop your thinking on specific structures of questions, right? So I'll skip this geometry question for the time being because this pen is not working very well. So next time maybe I'll show that geometry question to you through a different software. It's not working very well. The pen is not working very well on this PPT. So this one question I'll do, and this is a very simple question. Try to do this. We have 3-4 minutes left, so I'll just finish off with this question. The question is, I mean, when you solve this question, there can be many ways of doing it. The typical way that people solve this question, let me show you the solution to this. The typical way that people solve this question is what they do is that they take the first number as 11x because the question says 11 is to 14 is the original marks, and Bimal's score they take as 14x, and then they say y is added, so 11x plus y and 14x plus y. This ratio is given as 47 by 56. So if you start solving this, basically what will happen is if you visualize the solution, you will get 616x plus 56y is equal to 47 into 14 is 470 plus 188, 658x plus 47y. And the target value is basically Bimal's new score to his original score, the ratio of this. So Bimal's original score is 14x and his new score is 14x plus y. So from this equation above, you will get a ratio of the numbers. You will get 42x is equal to 9y So the value of y is 42x by 9. If I made the calculations correct. Now if you look at this is getting really messy in terms of solving. So if you put that there, you should get your answer. But a much easier answer than that is you try to visualize the values 11:14 can have. That's the algebraic solution that I just showed you. But think like this. If I want to make it 47:56, I can make it 47:56, 9412, and that will become tedious to do if I keep going that way. But if I just look through 22, 38, 28, so I can see that from 11:14, I need to add 36 to get to 47. I need to add 42 to get to 56. So the same value is not getting added. Similarly, from 20 to 28, I need to add 25 to 22 and 28 to 28 to get to 47:56. But we had luck. If we go to the third value, 33 is to 42. If the two numbers are 33 and 42, you can see that if you add 14 to both of them, you will get 47 and 56. Which means that the Bimal's new score is 56 and his original score must be 42. So the ratio is 4:3. Much faster solution than this and much less writing than this. So you have to be aware of numerical processes. You have to know numerical processes while solving, and it's an important component of your CAT prep journey. You cannot just depend on the algebra. A lot of people I see are very dependent on algebra for solving questions like this, and they will naturally get stuck in the exam while doing this, right? So try to avoid that. Chalo, I think that's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I'll be back with more uh, on this channel also. And as I mentioned at the start, you can also subscribe to Unacademy subscription model in case you are interested in doing some courses with us. Right? Chalo, I'll wind up with this. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.